Astui is available for Adobe Illustrator CS6 to CC 2019 on both macOS and Windows. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to download, install, activate with the Astui token, and use the Astui functionality in Adobe Illustrator. An important note is that I have first quit Illustrator. It is not running on the system. It's very important to install Adobe Illustrator plugins when Illustrator is not running, otherwise it will not function as intended. So, now I've quit Adobe Illustrator, I'm going to go to the astui.tech website, and I'm already logged in. If you haven't logged in, or if you haven't got an account yet, simply go to astui.tech and you can register with the name and email address for a 14-day free trial immediately. Once I've logged in and I'm in the dashboard, I can click on the Illustrator icon, and this page will detail all the things I need to know about installing and running Astui for Adobe Illustrator. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to look at this Download for macOS button here and click on it. We've got an equivalent if you're running on Windows. And now that I've downloaded this file, I'm going to go to the Downloads folder, and I can see this zip file has appeared. If I double click on it to extract the zip file, I can see there's a folder here called Astui Mac. And within that folder, I've got versions of the plugin for Adobe Illustrator CS6 to CC 2019. I'm going to concentrate on the CC 2019 version, but you've got to make sure that you're installing the correct version for your version of Adobe Illustrator. So for example, if you're on CC 2018, you'll find there's a version here, CC 2017 is a version here, etc. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Applications folder in macOS, and I'm going to locate the CC 2019 folder for Adobe Illustrator, double click on it. And within that, not only do I find the program Illustrator CC 2019, but I also find a plugins folder. I'm going to go into that. Now, your plugins folder may be empty apart from this simple text file. I have already installed all the Astute Graphics plugins for Adobe Illustrator, hence why it's populated like this. I'm going to go back to the Downloads folder where I had unzipped that download, and I'm going to locate the CC 2019 version of Astui.api, which is the Illustrator plugin file, and I'm just going to copy that into the plugins folder for CC 2019. I can go back here, and I can now run Adobe Illustrator CC 2019. Having loaded Illustrator, I'm going to open a vector artwork example. And on the first launch of Illustrator, where I open a document, the Astui panel automatically opens and presents itself here. If you have not got this automatically opening, or if you've closed it accidentally, you can locate it again by going to Window, Astui, and then click on Astui panel. On first loading this panel, you're presented with a request to enter the Astui API token. You can either click on this button here to go to the website to get it, or I'm going to simply return to Firefox, and I'm going to scroll down, and I can see there's a section here where I can copy my personal API token to the clipboard. So I'm going to click on that button, and now return to Illustrator. Click in this menu here, paste in my key, and click on Validate. With it validated, the Astui panel populates itself with the functions that you come to expect. Now, as it's a standard panel, I can dock this panel with other furniture in Adobe Illustrator like this. I can also dock it if I've got a larger screen underneath other panels and so forth. The Astui panel itself contains quite a few sections. We do have some explanation text automatically being presented here. In this example here, where I have this simple outline, I can hide that. But with the panel itself, I can also click on this flyout menu and find there's some further options here. I can in fact turn off certain sections of this panel if I find it too large. So if I didn't want the simple outline stroke, as it's native in Adobe Illustrator anyway, I can hide that section there. I can also remove the API token. Say, for example, if I want to leave this machine alone and go to another machine, but take the API token with me, I can click on that, or I can change the API token here. I can find out more about Astui service and also the Astui Graphics plugins. But we're now going to operate on a single function just to demonstrate Astui in practice. And for this, I'm going to zoom in a little bit further and see this one stroke here on this top of the shark illustration. And I can see in the Path Scribe panel, which is part of an Astui Graphics plugin called Vector Scribe, it's made up of 4 points and it's one open path. But it's a variable stroke width path, a bit like if it's got a brush on it. And I want to expand that. Expanding a stroke is actually quite a common task. So for example, if you exported this artwork as an SVG, those paths would be automatically expanded anyway. But now I've expanded it, I can see a problem. There are actually quite a few points on this path now. In fact, from 4 points, it's gone up to 45 points. I want to reduce that intelligently. If I were to use the pen tool native in Illustrator and were to remove points, you'd see the problem is that it starts distorting the shape. I don't want to do that. I want to remove points where I can, but maintain the shape. For that, I'm going to look at the Astui panel, and I can see at the top here there's the Smart Point Removal tolerance and the slider, and a button to do Smart Point Removal. I'm going to reduce the tolerance, which is increasing the accuracy. I want to keep the shape, but I want to keep the accuracy as well. And underneath, now I've reduced it to a level of 10, I can click on Smart Remove Points. That has automatically simplified it from 45 points to 9 points. In fact, the Astui panel here tells me how many points have been removed from the one path that I had selected. I can do that to a whole selection, a group, etc. There are other functions available in the Astui panel, such as move points to tangencies, offset path, and the previously closed outline simple stroke. And others will be emerging very quickly. We ask that you investigate these. There'll be individual videos popping up shortly to demonstrate all these individual functions. Don't forget, Astui is also currently available for XD and Sketch. So if you're using an entire workflow of systems, we're looking to ensure that it is present and correct in all the key points that you interact with your designs. Finally, we do recognise that currently the installation process isn't great. Having to find those individual and correct versions of Adobe Illustrator in the Finder like this is not ideal. We recognise that, and that is why we will be incorporating the Astui plugin installation process in the forthcoming Astui Manager. This is a new tool which will be available for all Astui Graphics plugins and the Astui plugin for Adobe Illustrator to allow for a much smoother and more instant workflow in terms of installing and activating your plugins. Thank you very much.